Hello and welcome back. All right, in this lesson, we are going to add a contact shadow beneath the shoe here. We're also going to add some grass elements poking out onto the sole of the shoe to show some depth in the image and make it look like it's really sitting on this earth element. So let's jump right down into this earth layer here. Let's see. You know what? First, we will go back up to our shoe and we're going to load the entire shoe selection. Collapse this group, get that out of the way. Now we'll make a new layer, call it shadow. Set it to the multiply blend mode. And we'll hit OK. Now I want to fill this with black. It's underneath the shoe right now, so you're not going to see that. Okay. Let's go ahead and nudge this down and over to the left a little bit. We're going to distort it a little bit, but first I want to create our mask for that. We need to select the entire earth element. There we go. And then we'll create a mask. We're going to unlink it because we're going to do some distorting to the shadow, and we do not want to make that affect the mask. So let's zoom in a little bit here. Before we get into distorting anything, we're going to blur this. So shadows usually have almost two feathered out edges to them. There's like a sharper one and then a softer one. So how I'll do that is with two separate blurs. The first one, we're going to do a 6% Gaussian blur. It's going to give us a nice soft edge here. I'm going to go back in, blur, Gaussian blur, and we'll do about 8. So we're adding like another ring of softness to the outside of this. And this is going to depend from, element to element, what the lighting's like, how much that first and second blur are going to be. But I think that looks pretty realistic for this image. Now with these still unlinked, I'm going to Command T, transform, and then we will distort this. We want to have the bottom of it kind of slump down a little further. Drag it out. It's looking pretty good. Yeah. I'm liking where that's at. We can feather it out a little bit if you'd like to with a soft brush, 0% for the hardness. If you feel like it's too much or too dark, go ahead and toy with your opacity here. I think the toe is where it's looking the strangest. It's almost too dark right there. We're going to taper it back so that the deepest is right beneath the shoe. There we go. It's looking pretty good. So that shadow's decent. You might want to consider, distorting it a little bit more. Play around with this. See if you find something. You're just really looking for a sweet spot. It just needs to look right. I think it's somewhere in between that first and second move. There we go. And then I'm going to paint out just a touch right here, softening up that edge. Looking pretty good. All right, I'm going to link those just so they don't get messed up in anything we do later on. I want to do a little levels adjustment as well to the earth element. I'm going to do it right above the dodge and burn and below our shadow. So we have this entire earth element in our mask here. Okay, whoa. 9 looks pretty good for that slider. tug this in just a little. Cool. I like what it's doing. It's a little heavy-handed, so I'm just gonna, rather than readjust these, I'm just gonna bring our slider down to about 60%. All right. Now what we're gonna do is add some grass to the sole here, and what I'll do is just create a mask on top of the shoe, and then we'll select our brush. And Photoshop comes with some pretty cool, pretty useful preset grass brushes. There we go. Now the trick here is going to be to varying your size and rotation. And this is going to take some finessing. Whoa, that is way too large. So don't do that. If you turn jitter on, that's going to help create some randomness to these brush strokes that you're doing. So that's always helpful. You just experiment if you pull up your brushes palette. Scattering. These are my scatter settings. Both axes at 33%. The count is at 2. I don't really think that matters. So really the scattering is what's important to get these to randomize. There are 2 grass brushes. I suggest you use both of those. And we're really just doing this to, you know, feel. Just take your time. If you make a mistake, like that didn't look good to me, just go ahead and take it off. Try again. And then varying the size, like I mentioned, of the brush often is a good idea, and rotation as well. Not bad. Now we can grab the single blade and play around with that one. There we go. And we're just going to do this to taste, I'll say. You can flip the axes as well to create some more variation. There we go. All right, I'm going to continue to finesse this a little bit, but there you have the basic idea of how I'm creating this grass look on the sole of the shoe. Now, in our next lesson, we're going to go over our final step, which is just a basic finishing, and we will be completed with this course. I hope you guys have learned something, and I'll see you in our next lesson.